Hi guys, welcome to another video. If you're looking for the perfect dessert for this Thanksgiving or Christmas, look no further than this apple tart. It has a beautiful flaky pastry crust with a nice almond, almost frangipane-like filling, and then beautiful apples layered on top to look like a rose. It's definitely a showstopper, but it's really not that hard to make. So if you'd like to give it a go this holiday season, we're going to show you how to make it.
For the pastry dough, start with 200 grams of flour in a bowl. To that, add an 1/8 teaspoon of salt and 2 tablespoons of sugar. Then add 113 grams or a stick of cold cubed butter to the flour. It's important that all the ingredients, but especially the butter, are very cold. That's what gives you a flaky and buttery crust. You can do this quickly in a food processor, but I do it by hand. You just want to squish the big lumps of butter between your fingers and rub them together with the flour mixture, repeating this until you have a sandy texture. When there are no more big lumps of butter, start adding ice cold water 1 tablespoon at a time. I typically need around 3, but once the dough comes together and is no longer crumbly, you can wrap it in some plastic wrap and put it in the fridge for at least 30 minutes. This lets the butter get cold again, because again, that's what gives you a flaky crust. Now let's move on to the filling. Add 150 grams of almond flour to a bowl along with 150 grams of powdered sugar. Mix and then add 2 egg whites and half a teaspoon of almond extract. You may notice that not everything I added was almond flour. I did end up adding some desiccated coconut. I sadly ran out of almond flour and had to find a substitution at the last minute, but don't be like me. If you're working with almond flour, your mixture should look a bit runnier than this. Let's slice up 3 large apples. You want thin slices, so you could use a mandolin here, just be careful and don't cut yourself. I find it easiest to cut each apple in half and then into slices, cutting out the core as I go. Add these to a bowl along with 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, a splash of vanilla extract, a pinch of salt, and a tablespoon of lemon juice. Mix this or use a bowl with a lid and shake until the apples are coated. I both butter my tart pan and line it with parchment paper to make sure that nothing sticks. There's nothing worse than putting in so much effort to make something look beautiful and then having it stick to the pan. Then it's time to roll out the dough into a 12-inch circle and transfer it into the pan. This dough can be a bit cold from the fridge, so definitely make sure you spend the time to roll it out and let it warm up. If you make a bit of a mess of it, like I often do because transferring pastry to a tin is hard, then just patch it up and it'll still turn out perfect. Press the dough into the edges of the pan and cut off the excess dough at the top. This needs to go back in a freezer for about 5 minutes for the butter to firm up again, and in the meantime you can preheat your oven to 190 degrees Celsius or 375 Fahrenheit. Spread the filling on top. Mine was thick because of the coconut, so I just used my hands, but if you're using almond flour, it'll be spreadable. Then start arranging the apples, skin side up and placing each slice so that it overlaps half of the previous one. As you get closer to the center, the thinner apples will be easier to use because they're more flexible and bendy. Just repeat this until you have a beautiful rose pattern. Now you might not think this is worth the effort, but I think it's definitely worth 5 extra minutes. Bake this for 35 to 45 minutes. If any of the apples start to catch along the edges, especially the thinner ones, cover it with some foil for the remainder of the time. Once it has cooled, remove it from the tart pan. This is where I flip my cake stand over and it comes in really handy. It really is a beautiful tart and such a lovely treat to share with friends and family. You can find the full recipe on our website or just follow this video tutorial.
The pastry is perfectly baked, nice and buttery and flaky. The filling, because I use coconut, is a little bit of a different texture, but you can still taste the almond. It's sweet too, which goes so well with the tart apples on top. And honestly, it's just such a delicious dessert. You should definitely make it. Thank you so much for watching today's video. We hope you enjoyed it and see you next video. Bye!